Isaac representing Funked Up TV. We're here with Ynot from the legendary Rocksteady crew. Say what's up, Ynot.
What's up, y'all?
We just took a class at the WIKIDOJO here at the Wiki House, Fremont, California.
Yeah.
He was gracious enough to come up here to NorCal and teach a bunch of people. And more importantly, he taught us kind of a lot of history and kind of how to turn the moves into something, something that you can create. And so we got a couple questions for Ynot. So Ynot, how did you start dancing, and what are your inspirations?
All right, how did I start dancing? Well, in the beginning for me, it was kind of like a trial and error sort of thing. I liked a lot of dancing. I liked tap. I liked popping was one of my favorite, and then I kind of stumbled on breaking later. So I started with popping. I'd say is my more main style that I was more interested in. Also at that time, a lot of like old school hip hop was going on, and just people were party dancing, which I also got attracted to. But once I started getting more into breaking, then I started liking it more. So in the beginning, it was kind of like just like an exciting thing for me to just mess around with, and then as I started learning more about it, that's when I became more interested in it and did it more serious.
Okay. And what were your inspirations as far as b-boying specifically?
Crazy Legs, which probably was my biggest inspiration as far as really schooling me on a lot of what the dance is about. Mr. Wiggles, Pop Master Fable, Ken Swift. So of course we're talking about Rocksteady, which in the mid '90s was a really heavy influence in New York at that time, and they had the biggest jam. Rocksteady Anniversary in the '90s was huge, And then even pre to that, my first breaking that I saw was a Breeze team, which was just a street hitter crew.
Sure. As far as Rocksteady, like how did you get put down in Rocksteady?
Legs asked me to be down in '98. Like, he was like, I know you want to go to school, and I know you want to break, but I think you should go to school. So I was like, okay. But then he was like, if you want to be Rocksteady, the doors are open, blah, blah, blah. I just kind of left it at that. And I was like, well, and then of course, leaning more into my family and my mother, she was like, you better go to school.
Yeah, for sure.
Not until after that, I ran back into Legs in 2004, 2005, and then he saw me at a jam, and we actually battled also. And then he asked me after that, he said, doors are still open for you. You
talked about kind of education and going to school and stuff like that. There's some people who they dance full time, and that's cool. Mm-hmm. And some people, are also going to school. So, what are your thoughts on that?
I mean, dancing alone as a career, if you want to make a career, is hard. And however you dance or whatever dance you want to get into, you have to come up with some kind of plan, For me, I realized that I learned that actually through school. Okay. Because I went to school for computer science. I learned how to take something and market it. I can take a product, I can take a person, and come up with a graphic scheme and market it and sell it to the best of my ability. Which I kind of learned how to do with myself with my dancing later on. So as my popularity grew as a dancer, I started to use both things simultaneously. So as I finished school, I kind of built up both careers at the same time.
Okay.
So, but I would tell anybody that wants to go to school, do it.
So a lot of people know you for top rocking. So what is top rocking specifically, and what role does it play in b-boying?
It's dancing. It's the first aspect or part of breaking before you go to the ground. There's a lot of talk about how you can't separate the dance, you can't just make top rocking its own thing. That's not what our main purpose, like when I talk about I say Top Rock City, which is a thing that me and Wiggles put together. And also just the movement of top rock is not necessarily meant for people just to top rock. It's to give them that more of an influence and more of a insight on dancing. Which I feel like kind of got lost in the sauce somewhere, from the 80s on until now. People were very heavily influenced by moves, which is dope, but there's other aspects. That's all I really try to say. I'm not saying that just top rock. I mean, top rock is a part of breaking.
So as far as training and how would you think are ways that people can train or structure their training?
Well, there's a few ways that I train. One is physically, of course, because we do physical movement. So I would do ab workouts, also workouts with my legs. Legs are really important. There's a lot of dancers that don't work out their legs. When it comes to like, you know, hitting beats or musicality, that doesn't really come from something you train physically. You know, you just do it. So I would call any type of musicality or dancing training, you do that with your ear, where you listen. You listen to the music, you listen for the message that's in the music, and then when you go to dance, you just go do it and dance.
Okay.
And then you know, your moves. You always have to go through your moves. You know, especially when it comes to power freezes, things like that. These are moves that you can lose if you don't keep up to date.
So there's this group called the MuthaFunkers here from the Bay, and you are a part of them.
Yes.
And so the question is, who are they? Why did you join them? And what's so awesome about the MuthaFunkers?
Okay. The MuthaFunkers is a collective of 4 dancers right now, and it consists of RJ KoolRaul, Dennis Soulo, and Bionic Man, and me. We kind of met through just dance, of course, and we were talking about how we thought that there should be more of a crossing over of dance styles. You know, there like just b-boying is one thing, just popping is one thing, just locking is one thing. You know, and we kind of wanted to show how it can be done also on a group level. You know, and we also all believe in one nation under the groove, which is, you know, the funk. You know, we all believe in the funk, and we believe that those styles, and not only the older funk styles, but also what's happening in the new, is important, you know, because it's all dance.
Nowadays, you kind of see all styles battles starting to kind of pop up, you know, versus just kind of just locking or just b-boying or just popping, whatever. What are your thoughts on that?
For an all styles battle, I think it's a cool concept because it challenges people to become more all-around dancer. There's some all styles battles that I don't also agree with because they may play a music that doesn't have a dance style to it. And then they're sitting there like, yeah, you know, like they'll play like a classic rock song and then stand there and be like, and then you have this dude trying to pop to a classic rock song. I'm looking at it like, okay, now this is turning into some like modern looking dance because there is no dance style to classic rock. You know what I'm saying? If you're gonna call something an all styles battle, I'm figuring that you're talking about all dance style battle. So you have to play music that deals with a genre of dance. But like I said, it's a good challenge for a dancer that's interested in doing more than just one thing. And I also like to kind of see how they may, you know, fuse a couple styles together. You know, anything to make the dance work. Really, if you just dance and you freestyle, and you know, and if I feel what you're doing, then I know that you're doing the right thing.
What's your take on judging in general? You know, what do you look for, and what do you think, you know, is important for you know, for not just b-boys but dancers in general?
I think, you know, if you're going into a competition and your main focus is winning, which most people are, you know, great, that's your focus. Then I would say look at your judges and try to get your best idea of what you think they're going to be judging on. You know, for me, I'm not really worried about what a judge is thinking about because really it's their opinion, you know, and there may be judges I respect, there may be judges I don't fully respect, but I'm not going to disrespect them at the end of a decision that they may make on a battle of mine, you know, because who cares? Really, at the end of the day, who cares? Because I'm going to dance the way I feel like dancing, you know. So my style or the way I do things may not win battles all the time, and that's fine with me because I know I'm trying to keep it you know, real to myself to the best of my ability, you know. So I may win, I may lose, and that's fine with me. I don't think people should really base a lot of their decisions on how a competition is. I think some people may do too many competitions, almost to a point where they base their style on the competition.
Sure.
And I think that takes away from them as in their own growth as dancers a bit, you know, because then they have this competitive type style, you know. Now you might as well just call it a sport, you know what I mean? Because now it's under a guideline of a competition. It's not really under no guidelines, which is dancing.
Can you talk about kind of this internet culture? You know, how do you think it has affected, this new culture has affected the scene now, and how do you think it can move forward positively?
Well, what I tell people is that you know, I tell them like my experience through the 90s where when I was dancing and I would see somebody in person, which also would happen too. You would hear about someone and you may not know who they are, and then when you see them in person, it's like, oh, that's that dude. You know, and now it's like you hear about someone, you just kind of search them and you can find them. Yeah. There's guaranteed to be a clip on whoever the hell it is that you heard about, you know, which is kind of strange. But when I talk about influences, and like, I feel like some people almost bite unconsciously and they don't even know it, only because they're watching something continuously over and over again, that it gets kind of etched in their brain, that actually when they go to do something, they're going off of what they saw over and over again. You know, it's kind of like a really strange project, you know, where we have everybody just sitting in these chairs and watching the same videos, and then it's like when they go out, they look exactly like what they were watching, you know. Okay. But what I try to explain to people is that when we saw something in the 90s, and this is if you didn't have a VHS tape, if you got influenced by something, you would see it and then you would go home and try to the best of your ability to bite it, you know, but you really can't, because you can only remember so much, you know. So I try to keep that mentality when I'm watching something on video or whatever. Like, I use it one time and then I don't ever go back to it. And that's what an influence really is. It's not to actually do it exactly how it's done. Mm-hmm. It's to have a very small feeling and example that you get to do and create your own.
So we've been talking about, you know, the YouTube generation, the internet generation. A lot of times, you know, during a battle, or, you know, during, even on some of your videos, not that I watch them more than once, only one time. But you know, there'll be a song, and then someone on the comments will say, "What's that song?" Instead of going and looking for it, you know. And you also were talking about YouTube digging, which I think is a really cool idea. So I want to go into that right now. But people will ask the question and they'll get it and they'll go find it right away. What are your thoughts on that?
I think it. Well, digging in general is a you know, a DJ term, which is, you know, digging was finding gems, what we call gems, or like certain records that, you know, nobody had, or finding one that you know was super rare, that maybe nobody or not too many people had, you know. Okay. There was one specific song that I thought was like one of the best songs I've ever heard. I heard at the Zulu anniversary in '97, and I think Forrest Gump was spinning, and it was a song called Castles from a group called the Futures, right? Mm-hmm. Which I didn't know. Once I figured out the name of it, I forgot, I must have asked like at least 1 million people to what the name of the song was, and I tried singing them the tune to the best of my ability. Yeah. I actually found that record in a comic book shop in Philadelphia. When I found it, it became like a moment, you know what I'm saying? Like, I was like, oh. Yeah. And I'm like, I got it. Uh-huh. Damn. Like, I couldn't wait to just go home and put it on, you know, the turntable. And it's like, it's rare now, man. You can't even get that feeling anymore, you know, of really owning something. When you own a song too, you have it and you can touch it. It's like a record, you know what I'm saying? You can feel it out, you can manipulate it, you know, you can do all kinds of stuff with it. It's not like when you grab an MP3, you just, you know, you may get it on your hard drive, you may get a file of it, and then it's like, you're like, yeah, I got that, you know. And some people come up to me with like, with their flash drive, you know. Oh, and I look at that as very disrespectful. Okay. And just because I have a really old school kind of just feel for music, you know. So when they're like, give me all you were playing today, and I'm like, are you crazy? Yeah, it took years. It took me 10 years to get that song. It took me 3 years to get that song. Why would I just give it to you like that? Sure. You know what I mean? I mean, I'm sure they can find it on their own, you know. Yeah. But I mean, there's a certain, like, there's a thing about that, you know, and that's where the DJing and learning other elements comes in, because it's like, you get that appreciation for that music. You get that feeling of like going out and searching for it and finding it and getting it and then owning it and then, like, you know, keeping it. It's a whole different feeling that doesn't happen now. So it's kind of weird.
So I mean, we're in the Bay Area right now. We're in Fremont. So for sure, I mean, we got to get a shout to the Bay Area. What do you like about the Bay Area?
Dance wise, I think the scene is pretty dope out here. You know, this was like one place that I started traveling to that I saw people that were more into being well-rounded as a dancer than just focusing on one style. Sure. So there's actually been a lot of all styles things that I've heard come out of this area, which is like refreshing for me, because like, you know, I mainly danced in Philly. The community was small, but the community all danced with each other, you know. So we would all be in a cipher together doing everything. So even if I consider myself a b-boy, I could be standing across from a locker and we may even battle.
Yeah.
But he's doing his thing and I'm doing mine, you know what I'm saying? And so it's like, that's kind of refreshing seeing that stuff happen out here. I think the Bay is just all around is a really artistic area.
So, I mean, I'm just gonna ask the question. I know all the B girls, other girls out there are wondering why not. Are you with anybody?
Well, I'm with B girl Bonita. That's my girlfriend right now. It's funny I call her B girl Bonita. I don't really call her that at all. But we did meet through dancing. I was traveling to Arizona. I was already in Rocksteady, and she wasn't yet. And that's when I met her. And then she actually got down with Rocksteady later on, and then as we started meeting more and knowing each other more, kind of one thing led to the other, and that's how we got together.
Cool.
It's cool. I mean, you know, at times it gets a little funky, you know what I'm saying? Like, she'll be like, why don't you do that move right? And I look at her like, what are you talking about? Like, leading to a battle or something like that. No, but it's it's been going well, and we have a very good working and good relationship together. So
cool. You have any shout outs you want to give to any special people in your life?
Shout out to my mom.
Yeah.
I don't ever shout out my mom, so I want to shout out my mom.
Fuck that PV, you're catching this, man.
I'm always shouting out,
Special
you know,
mother.
like, you know, Rocksteady and all that stuff. So this is a special shout out to my mom, because, you know, she'll probably be watching this.
Yes.
And then she's gonna Facebook message me. Yes, my mom's on Facebook.
Cool.
And she's probably gonna, I saw the interview.
Is that how she talks?
Yeah, no.
You won't really know.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's it. This is for my mom, so it's dedication.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, thank you very much, man. I appreciate it. You know, from Funked Up TV all the way live, we really, really appreciate it, man.
Word up.